Morning, guys. Sorry I'm absent again today, but I thought I would make videos to make it a little bit easier for you guys to go through my learning issues. First one being how are fibrinogen D-dimers and fibrin dissolution particles interrelated, and how can they increase and decrease relationship to each other. So basically this is just kind of a reiteration and elaboration on the last learning issue. And I'll kind of just go from start with that one. So homeostasis comes in the 5 stages we talked about: the primary, secondary, anticoagulation, tertiary, and healing. Each one of these plays a significant part in the healing process. So the primary part being the platelet plug. This is important for stopping the bleed at the very first part of it. The second is coagulation, which will help for stabilizing that clot and making sure it stays there. And then you have anticoagulation, which is to help balance it and prevent clotting in places that there shouldn't be clotting. Then you have tertiary, which is fibrinolysis, which is the beginning of the breaking up of that clot once healing has been done. And then healing, which is restoring the normalcy. So basically, during this coagulation portion of things, secondary, primary, and secondary, fibrinogen, which is inherent in the blood, complexes with other fibrinogens to form fibrin. Fibrin forms like almost like a net, a mesh for other coagulation particles, platelets, other things to just kind of tack on. Establishes itself as a network for things to attach to and maintain the stability of the clot. During tertiary or fibrinolysis, that fibrin will split up in many pieces. Most of them are going to be the FDPs or FSPs and D-dimers. So for these tests, what we're really looking at is primary and secondary a little bit for the platelet plug and fibrinolysis. For fibrinogen specifically, we're talking about our ability to clot, which is going to be our primary and secondary. It's kind of that bridge between the two there. High concentrations would mean there's an active response to a bleed. The liver would be kicking out more in order to fill the void, and that is shown in a need there. Low concentration would mean a lack of production, which would mean like liver issues. I don't think that's our problem here. Or consumption of these proteins in the formation of a clot or multiple clots. I think that's the most likely here for Jimmy because we're having an active bleed in our gut. We're using up that fibrinogen pretty quickly. For D-dimers and fibrin split products, again, that's part of the fibrinolysis portion of hemostasis. So high concentrations of that would mean that the body is beginning to process and beginning to dissolve a clot or many clots. And low numbers might mean we don't have any clots or we're not actively clotting. So basically, just to reiterate, we want to make sure for Jimmy to be a good surgical candidate that he has high enough levels of fibrinogen and low enough levels of FSPs and D-dimers, because those fibrinogens are actually those fibrins or fibrin products and D-dimers, but later on down the line. Because we have low fibrinogen and high FSPs and D-dimers, we know that there's either active or just post-active bleeding. It's most likely that it's still active, and that we know that our axial volume is pretty low, so we need to restore those levels in order to make sure that he's a good candidate for surgery to have that spleen removed. We could do this by letting him recover for a couple of days, not with his condition, but that is an option, or by transfusing cross-match whole blood. Thanks, guys.